I once wrote a book about the building of a house, an idea I got from having been my own incompetent, nearly suicidal carpenter for a time. Well, what fascinated me once I got into that project were the carpenters and the homeowners and the architect and the relations among them, a ménage à trois without sexual connotations. My book, Mountains Beyond Mountains, really began when I ran into Dr. Paul Farmer by accident in Haiti. And my new book, Strength in What Remains, began in much the same way when I met Deo Gracias on a visit to Paul Farmer. In both cases, I was interested initially not in the issues that interested those men, but in the outlines of their lives, which seemed eminently suited to storytelling. I probably shouldn't admit this, but what I aspire to is art. Art has the great power to transform the experience of suffering and injustice into something beautiful. And I think, others have said this, of course, that art is created with a certain obliviousness to commerce and also to didacticism. The great storyteller Jorge Luis Borges once said, and I think I've got this right, that if you're telling a story about time, the one word forbidden you is the word time. When you talk about a book you've written, you're expected, quite reasonably, to say what it's about, and yet when it comes to this book of mine, I don't feel entirely confident about any of my answers. I do know it's not about Africa, conceived by so many of us Americans as one vast dysfunctional country. I know I didn't want to make Burundi seem exotic. I wanted to make it comprehensible. We hear about mass slaughter in distant countries, and we imagine that murder and mayhem define those locales. I wanted, in the back of my mind anyway, I hoped that Deo's story would humanize our view of Burundi and also open up a part of New York that seems designed to be invisible, the service entrances of the Upper East Side and the camping sites that people make in Central Park. Certainly, this book has to do with war and genocide and with courage and endurance, the generosity of strangers, the uses and disuses of memory. But we already know the basic truths about those subjects, that war and genocide are deplorable, that human beings are capable of great resilience, that charity happens, that memory can be an ungovernable torment. What I wanted, without ever telling myself this exactly, was to allow readers to experience those facts, not as truisms, but as we experience them in our own lives, to experience them again through Deo. The writers I admire all do this. They make the world new again.